This is Ella Star with your Key Races and Bets podcast for Saturday, June 7th, 2025, the Belmont Stakes Day. This Key Races and Bets podcast is brought to you by Amwager.com, A-M-W-A-G-E-R. Amwager.com is a great legal U.S.-based online wagering website for horse racing fans. Amwager.com is a small business located in the U.S. with great betting tools and perks, legal for residents of most states, and covering most tracks in North America as well as many around the world. Check it out, Amwager.com. You can also get the written version of this podcast, the Key Races and Bets blog, free at Amwager.com by clicking on How to Bet and Ella Star's blog. We're going to start with one of the many great stakes races on the card Saturday at Saratoga. The True North Stakes, Race 7, post 2:37 Eastern on Saturday, June 7th. The top win contenders in preference order are Crazy Mason, Bookham Dano, and Nakatomi. For exactas, we might consider Mulligan and Concrete Glory. Let's talk about the early pace first. Concrete Glory has superb early speed, gets the rail, gets Luis Saez, who only rode him once previously, putting him on the lead from the start for a 7.5 length win last November. Concrete Glory could be a lone front-runner again, and considering he has finished first or second in 19 of 28 dirt races, even if he can't win, he could complete the exacta. However, Mulligan has earned 4 of his 5 career wins leading from the start, 3 of 5 under Pratt. He rides here, 2 on the lead, the other from just off the pace. He figures to put pressure on Concrete Glory from the start, as does Full Moon Madness. All that early speed and the battle for the lead sets it up for Crazy Mason, who gets slight preference among 3 to close and win, as he the highest morning line odds of the trio. Crazy Mason has won 3 in a row, including the higher level grade 2 Carter Stakes in April, under Manny Franco up for the first time and riding again here in the True North. Crazy Mason has put in 2 exceptional morning workouts coming into the race, although likely last in the early stages. He can be first once again at the end. Bookham Dano won the Grade 1 Woody Stevens Stakes on this day, Belmont Stakes Day last year, as a 3-year-old, closing from 6th of 11 to do so. Bookham Dano has won 2 of 7 since, as well as missed by a neck with a big rally from 7th last August here at Saratoga in the Jerkins Grade 1. And enters the race off of Hugh Jefford, beaten about a foot on the wire in a 4-horse photo in the Grade 1 Churchill Downs Stakes. So Bookham Dano must be respected as a contender with all that pace to set up his kick. Nakatomi won the Grade 1 Vanderbilt Stakes at Saratoga last July, following a third-place finish in the Golden Shaheen at Dubai this year, winning the Golden Shaheen and entering this Grade 2 Stakes in top form with a pair of sensational workouts at trainer Wesley Ward's base in Kentucky before shipping back to the track. He's won 2 of 3 over. Red Ortiz Jr. has only ridden Nakatomi once previously, to a big second in the Grade 2 Phoenix Stakes in the fall of 2023. In the True North Stakes, Race 7, Saratoga, Saturday, June 7th, 2:37 Eastern. We should consider betting both Crazy Mason and Bookham Dano to win 5-2 or more. Nakatomi has fair odds of 3-1 or more. I'll bet one or both of the first 2, but if one of them is below those odds, I would not hesitate adding Nakatomi back in as a contender to win, make a win bet on. And when presented with the opportunity to wager on more than one horse to win, we can gain a mathematical edge, a good one, using what's called a Dutching tool, which prorates our wagers for the best value. There's a free Dutching tool at Amwager, where all we have to do is select the total we want to wager, and then select 2 horses. All the work is done for us. That's one of many good tools and perks for horse racing fans at Amwager. For the exactas, 2 exactas, the first is going to be a box of Crazy Mason, Bookham Dano, Nakatomi. The second is going to be Crazy Mason, Bookham Dano, and Nakatomi over Crazy Mason, Bookham Dano, Nakatomi, Mulligan, and Concrete Glory, who could hang on for second. Moving on to the Woody Stevens Stakes, Race 11 at Saratoga at 5:20 Eastern, exceptional race on June 7th. The win contenders in preference order are Patch Adams, Big Truz, and Colloquial. Talk about the early pace again. Madacat Road, adding blinkers back, should go for the lead from his inside post, but Macho Music, just outside of him, the gate won't allow an easy lead, considering Macho Music's led after a quarter mile his last 2 races under Javier Castellano, who rides back, and after adding blinkers. Actually, all 4 of Macho Music's career wins have come when leading from the start. Neo Equos is another need to lead type, needing to establish a good position early from an outside post, and his last win came when from the start. Baffert's other starter, besides Madacat Road, is Citizen Bull, who, as we remember, made the lead in the Derby, and is another lead type who, in spite of blinkers coming off, should be sent to the front or will press the pace. All that early speed sets up a trio nicely, with the first of the trio beating Patch Adams. He gets top billing considering he ran faster in winning an allowance race on Derby Day than Macho Music did winning the graded Pat Day Mile later on the day. The 106 Equibase speed figure earned by Patch Adams is tied for the best last race figure in the field with Colloquial, which was earned winning the Lafayette Stakes in April, and it's not Patch Adams' best, as he earned a spectacular 113 figure, breaking his maiden in his second career start last November. We can ignore Patch Adams' 2 tries in routes in his career in the Southwest and Tampa Bay Derby, but around one turn, particularly at 6.5 to 7 furlongs, Patch Adams' best race is good enough to win. Big Trust has only raced twice. Both were impressive. He won in April in ridden out fashion with a 94 figure. Then he was second to Patch Adams last month with a 102 figure, well clear of the third horse. Luis Saez gets off Patch Adams to ride, as Pratt, the regular rider for Patch Adams, takes the call on Chancellor McPatrick, who has a lot of question marks. Rosario gets on and fits the horse's late running style nicely. So at 10 to 1 odds, and because there's a slight chance Big Trez can leapfrog Patch Adams in only his third career start, he must be considered as a contender. Colloquial was the talk of New York and the rest of the country last February after winning by 7 lengths and earning an exceptional 117 Equibase figure. Trainer George Weaver knew even though the colt was bred to handle 2 turns, as a son of Vacoma, he lacked the seasoning to do so and didn't put him in the Derby trail, instead entering him in the Lafayette Stakes on April 7th, where he romped once again at odds of 2 to 5. Pointing to this race and freshened since then, Manny Franco rides back after being up for all 3 starts, and Colloquial's 6 to 1 starting odds are a bit ridiculous for a horse that just won a similar, though not graded, stakes race. In the Woody Stevens, race 11 at Saratoga, Saturday, June 7th, we'll look at Patch Adams first, who could be a low-odds overlay win bet, opening at 5 to 1 in the morning line, and I'll bet him at 8 to 5 or more. Big Trez and Colloquial can be considered for win bets at 3 to 1 or more, and certainly this is an opportunity to use a Dutching tool like the 3-1 Lamb Wager, because we can get some value here betting 2 of the 3 to win. Moving on to the big one on the day, the Belmont Stakes, race 13 at Saratoga, 7:04 Eastern on June 7th. The top win contenders in preference order are Baeza, Sovereignty, and Journalism. Really nothing special here, but could be a good race. First, early pace again. If Rodriguez and Crudo both run as expected, I see no other scenario than the 2 of them battling for early supremacy and being susceptible to being passed late by his Journalism and Sovereignty. Rodriguez earned a field-high 111 figure winning the Wood Memorial in April when last seen leading from start to finish, and will once again show his speed, but I can't see Crudo letting Rodriguez get an early lead, as both of his wins have come when in front from the start. I expect Crudo to improve his speed figure of 100 last time out, but there's no reason to think he can change his running style. Neither of them can change their running style and sit second. So they're going to battle and set up the stalkers. Analyzing 3-year-olds at this time of year is about predicting small improvements as much as any other factor. It is with that reasoning that Baeza appears to be worthy of being the top contender in this field. Baeza made his career debut at a mile on turf last December, whereas at the time, Sovereignty had run 3 times, including winning the Street Sense, and Journalism had run twice and had won at a mile. 11 days after Baeza debuted, Journalism won Los Alamitos Futurity, which proved, again, the seasoning part. After his career debut last summer, Baeza finished second early January behind Rodriguez, who controlled the pace from start to finish. Probably not going to be able to do it here, as I said. And then Baeza improved markedly in his third career start in February, winning by nearly 5 lengths, earning a career best 104 Equibase figure, which at the time was higher than the best figures Sovereignty had earned, and just short of the 106 Journalism earned, winning the graded stakes Los Alamitos Futurity. Considering he had run nearly as fast as Journalism, and was still improving, trainer John Sheriff's entered Baeza in the San Diego Derby, but again, his lack of experience as compared to Journalism was just enough to cost him. He rallied the lead by a length, with an eighth of a mile to run, was passed by the more experienced horse. But he did improve to a career best 107 Equibase figure. Then came the Derby, where experience again made significant difference. Baeza began last of 19. He was 15th after a half mile, a couple lengths ahead of Sovereignty. But he had traffic trouble where Sovereignty really didn't, and he was steady behind horses with 5/16 to run. Baeza was 7th with a quarter mile to go, while Journalism had already gotten to 3rd, and Sovereignty was 4th. And although Baeza closed rapidly from that point to the wire, he could not make up the deficit, ending up a neck behind Journalism for 2nd and a length and 3/4 behind Sovereignty. Now, it's a little over a month later, and that experience edge may be negligible. Baeza only has to pass at most 7 horses to win, not 19 as in the Derby. We know, given his pedigree, Baeza will love a mile and a quarter, as his half-brother Dornoch won this race last year and Mage won the Derby the year before. And with those factors in mind, I think Baeza could post a slight upset and win this year's Belmont. Sovereignty got a career-best 103 figure of the Derby at the distance of the Belmont, this year's Belmont, and has been rested for 5 weeks, would be no surprise. Journalism showed really what makes a thoroughbred when getting boxed in at the top of the stretch and asserting himself to make up all those lengths and win with a 109 figure in the Preakness. And we can expect another A race from Journalism as well. All 3 contenders have fair odds in the 9-5 to 5-2 range, but only Baeza will be above that threshold. So Baeza is the only horse I'm considering for WinBet, and will do so at 5-2 or more. There's no real value in boxing any exacta boxes consisting of Sovereignty and Journalism, so I'm going to play Baeza as a key and play exacta boxes of Baeza and Sovereignty and exacta boxes of Baeza and Journalism. Don't forget, you can get the written version of this podcast, the Key Races and Bets blog, free at amwager.com. Click on how to bet in Dollar Stars blog while you're there. If you're not a member, sign up. Amwager.com is legal for residents of most states and covers most tracks in North America, many around the world, including the entire card at Belmont on Saratoga, Belmont Day at Saratoga on Saturday. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.